Very simple. We're going to have router 1 and router 2. They're plugged into ports that are in the same VLAN on switch 1. Router 1 is going to be our server. Router 2 is going to be our client. And we're going to nail up this PPPoE session from router 1 to router 2. So what we'll do here is we'll do the server end first. Let's pull up our rack. And you can see here the only thing I have defined at this point is the loopback 1.1.1.1. So let's configure our pool. IP local pool. We'll call it PPPoE. And this pool is going to be for handing addresses out to our clients. So let's say our addresses for our clients are 192.168.1.1 through 192.168.1.100. So there's our pool. We will do some authentication here. So what do we want router 2 to authenticate as? We'll say their username is, let's just say, well, let's give it something more interesting than just client. How about this guy who's connecting is going to be Bob. So we'll say username Bob. His password is going to be Cisco. Okay, so we have our username. We have our pool. Now the broadband access group. So BBA group, PPPoE, you can see that is the only option. And I'm going to call it CCIE. Now we need to bind the broadband access group to a virtual template. So I say virtual template 1. Now what we're going to do is go to the physical fast Ethernet interface, and now we're going to bind all that onto the interface. So PPPoE enable. How do we want to enable it? With group CCIE. So we've just taken this BBA group and really bound it to this interface. Okay, now our virtual template. So on the virtual template, I'm going to say IP unnumbered loopback 0. Change my MTU. And I'm going to do peer default IP address pool, what did we call it? PPPoE. So that's saying whoever connects to me going to get an address from this pool. And then we're going to say let's do some authentication. So PPP authentication chap colon. Colon here means we're only going to authenticate if the guy on the other end initiated. The guy on the other end should always initiate since he is the client, right? Okay, so that's about it. Let's do a recap. So quick show run. We've got our username here. So Bob's going to have to tell us who he is and give us the right password before the session comes up. We define the BBA group called CCIE, and we bind that to virtual template 1. On the interface, so on fast00, we've enabled PPPoE and tied it to our BBA group. Our virtual template, remember this is where everything's going to be spawned. We have our MTU set. It's tied to the loopback. We're assigning an address to the guy on the other end, and we're going to do some basic authentication. Finally, here was our pool. Okay, now the interface is still shut down. Let's go do the client.